suck them off. So sad.
I know those feelings. Are you okay?
I'm Lydia Lunch, and this is my cohort.
Richard Kern.
And why we're here at this time is to promote not only the Death Trip films and Richard's new book, New York Girls, distributed through Pure magazine, not Pure at all, but also my spoken word CD, Rude Hieroglyphics, and I'm doing shows. And we had a showing of the Death Trip films, which are running at the NFT. The first night I introduced them and we answered questions. That's why we're here. What are you here for?
I'm here just for a photo exhibit at the Pure Gallery. That's it.
Well, how I met Richard Kern was that I was looking for some blood and guts performance artist after my return to New York from a 2-year stint in London, and he came recommended as someone that was doing these, I hate to say performance pieces. And so I called him up and we got together and started doing performances together. I mean, that was when I first began spoken word stories. And my first one was called Daddy Dearest. It was a letter to my father about the accumulated abuse of my first 14 years. And Kern, what was that first performance? Do you remember?
Sorry, I don't.
I do. The first performance that Richard did was, he came out on stage, although it was a basement, there wasn't really a stage before I did my story, looking what I thought was like a CIA agent in a suit and dark sunglasses and playing the most atrocious guitar you've ever heard. Absolutely awful. And within 2 or 3 minutes, someone from the audience volunteered that they'd show him how it was done, they'd show him how it was done, and they ran up to the bar and chopped their hand off. And that was the first performance, Richard.
Okay, thanks for refreshing my memory.
And then I think we did a series every once a week in this basement club, and I think the next one was Kern leading up his partner in blood at the time, Brian Moran, in a white straitjacket to the stage. I don't know if he had any panties on or not, and then slicing him up. So we would do things to try to intimidate and instigate fear in people. It was very successful at the time. I mean, now we have people like Ron Athey and others that have taken these concepts to an exaggerated extreme, thank God. Richard had been doing films already, and he had been doing photography and putting out magazines. I'd been doing music, and it was the start of my spoken word, and then we just decided to do Right Side of My Brain. Don't ask me why. I guess I was impressed by his evil eye, and so we decided to do The Right Side of My Brain, which is an erotic dramatization of a willing victim, a female that for some reason can't get out of abusive situations, basically because she digs the drama. And so we tried to explore those themes in Right Side of My Brain. And then from there we progressed to Fingered, which was meant to be like a drive-in trailer of the worst kind, depicting victimization, which then turns into victimization. And on and on. We did 2 feature, as we'd call it in the Kern catalog, because 20 minutes is a feature film. But then we did Submit to Me and Submit to Me Now, where I'm merely a cameo along with other throbbing, narcissistic self-abusers, just exuding their sexuality, obsessions, insecurities, and destruction.
And she squealed in a Death Valley 69 video. I can't really think of any good stories. Every time I think of one, it seems to have already been done. And there are some stories with the newer stuff. I think The Bitches definitely has a story element. Some of the stuff does.
Well, I would love to do another story-based film with Richard, but as I said the other night at the NFT, that since I'm dealing strictly in autobiographical material, whether it's through my lyrics, the films, or my spoken word, or the written word, that at this point, and perhaps in a few years when I'm a little bit more mature, I would be ready to do something that was more like an erotic drama, but it would have to be fact or reality based. I'm not interested in doing fiction. So that kind of stifles me as far as the next plot. I mean, I really wanted to do, and for almost 7 years, Richard and I have vaguely on and off talked about doing a film I was very interested in, which I was writing about racism. It would be like the version of Fingered, but with racism instead of sexual abuse, because it's it's predominant continually. But we just haven't really clicked on that. I mean, and also it would be reality based, but it would still have to be fictionalized, which doesn't interest me. Fiction does not interest me.
Plus, we need someone to give us the money for it.
Well, spoken word is my priority medium of expression, because I think it's, to me, the most pertinent. I mean, everyone can have a rock band. I've done enough musical recordings, which are all obscured by nature and distribution. Spoken word is more immediate. It can be more topical. It's more spontaneous. You can talk about the ills of the day and also what's stimulating you from the audience perspective or from where you are. I think that in this day and age, you know, a lot of people complain or protest in their own small way. There aren't enough people doing it in an articulate verbal manner in just spoken word. I think it's a necessary evil to do it. And it's also the most economical in the sense that I haven't and never will be tied to a major record company. It's very portable. You can do it anywhere. There's no budget involved, and it's necessary, especially from a feminazi viewpoint, to talk about the things that plague me and that obsess me, like population explosion, like prison, like politics, like sexual and social inequality. All of these things obsess me day to day, and I have to speak about them. I mean, I don't have to do music. When my collaborators are available, and most of them live in different countries than I do, and when I've somehow managed to scam a budget out of somebody to record an album or to go on tour, then I'll do that. But everyone can do music, and too many people do it. Not enough people are out there dealing with brutal reality, as far as I'm concerned. That's what interests me. That's why rap is the only music that's interesting to me at this time, is like Insane Poetry, Method Man, Wu-Tang Clan, because it's a reality-based art form. And that's what I'm interested in. So therefore, spoken word, the offshoot of that is illustrated word, which is just monologues or stories or pieces to music. And I have a CD called Universal Infiltrators coming out in January. And I'm recording a new album with Jim Thirlwell in December, which will be illustrated word, almost like a radio drama with music. So the word is most urgent, even if it has a musical backdrop.